So, I wanted to follow up my previous video, which I uploaded the other day, when it comes to improvements to WWE Games. And hopefully, these improvements will be implemented for WWE 2K20. Now, I'm not talking about changing the world here, these are subtle improvements. And one area which I think hasn't received a lot of love over the last few years is the managers. We can't even play as a manager in a WWE game without a glitch. And I think that needs to change. Now, whether or not there's a reason behind this, I don't know. Is it WWE saying that you can't use managers? I don't know. But I would like them to be playable because I'm all for realism in a WWE game. But let's not forget the fact, these games are supposed to be fun, and it would be fun to play as Paul Heyman or Drake Maverick, and even more so with Drake Maverick's antics as the 24/7 champion. So I think managers should be active and they should be superstars as well as being classed as a manager. And that's all it really should be when it comes to a manager in a WWE game. They should be listed as a manager, but that shouldn't make them exempt from being playable. Now, in WWE 2K19, it is a bit of a pain in the arse to play as a manager. You have to go in, pick a manager to edit in the creation suite, then you have to unpair them. That should make them active, but I've found that it can crash your game. And even when you've done all this, you can only use one of the attire slots because the secondary attire slot stays listed as a manager. So then if you want to go and create another attire for that manager that's now a superstar, you have to use another slot in your game, and we haven't got enough creation slots as it is. So you kind of catch my drift, the fact that I've had to tell you this, all of this detail, that in all honesty, it would just be easier if managers were active from the offset and we could play as them, simple as. Now, in terms of managers overall, just being managers, again, I think they lack a lot of love. They don't really have any sort of AI. They don't seem to know what they're doing from time to time. And if they do choose to interject themselves in the match, they do it so many times that it gets frustrating that I want to remove the manager. So in terms of the manager doing a manager's job, they do it very poorly. They don't actually enhance a match or make it any better. On occasions, they do make it worse. So I think that the actual AI, like I've spoke about in the past with the referee, having more sense, having more realization when and when not to get involved in the action, that's important. Maybe a manager can only interact at certain intervals of the match, and if they do, it's at certain times, maybe when a certain pressure move has been hit, maybe when a finisher has been hit or a signature. I don't know, but there needs to be rules put around a manager because in my experience using a manager, having them assigned at ringside only ends in trouble and it ruins a match. And yes, you might say, well, that's what managers are there to do. They're there to protect their superstar. But in some instances, they ruin the match for me. So managers being managers just needs to be managed. That's the best way to put it. But having managers be superstars as well is important to me. And I do think with someone like, for example, Eric Bischoff, who's returning to WWE to be an executive director for SmackDown, I'd like to see Eric Bischoff in a WWE game. And in the instance that we have at the moment, removing the glitch, let's just say Eric Bischoff he'd be classed as a manager and you wouldn't be able to play as him. And we all know Eric Bischoff over his time, whether it's been a general manager or an authoritative figure for WCW or WWE, he has had the odd match from time to time. So I think it would be a great disappointment if then we get Eric Bischoff in the game and he's limited to just being a manager. And I do think you could use that mindset for many managers that are already currently featured in WWE games. For example, if we go through them, you'll soon begin to realise that many of them have actually wrestled in their career at some point. So Bobby Heenan, he's been in a match. Drake Maverick, he's been in a match. Mr. McMahon, he's been in a match. Paul Heyman, well, I've seen him wear a tracksuit, so I'm sure he's been in a match at some point. The Singh brothers, they've been featured in matches before. Stephanie McMahon, who can be playable. Triple H, for some reason, I've got him wearing a referee's top, because I'm just listing them off right now, but we know he's playable anyway. And then Zelina Vega, who is now an active competitor. So you see what I mean? Is it really worth having, the separation of manager and superstar. Yes, from a classification perspective, so you can go in and just, filter by managers. I'm totally for that. I'm much more for a better filtering system overall, but not when you want to play as a manager in a game. It should be a fact that they are active and you can get on with the business and raise some hell with Paul Heyman. Why not? The little walrus beast needs to be unleashed. That'd be a pretty good t-shirt, don't you think? Meh. Anyway, never mind that. Anyway, if you want to see managers become active correctly, because of course we do have the glitch, but in my experience, I've found that it causes me slight problems. It doesn't always work that well. And also, I just think, meh, why have we got to find a glitch for this? And can you imagine if 2K actually patched the glitch so you couldn't use managers? I mean, how disappointing would that be? So I think, 2K just need to realise that, in all honesty, it's not worth this being a glitch. Although I appreciate it at the moment, it just needs to be active from the offset. So if you want to see managers in WWE 2K20 be active so you can compete with them with no need for a glitch, hit that like button. And as well, if you've got any suggestions in terms of the AI for the manager, so it actually makes them more logical when they make their decisions during a match as a manager representing a superstar, then leave them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear them. But for now, have your say on managers, and all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.